no bad times. I don't wanna have bad.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Oh, man, you doing something.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I think a lot of times as artists, we go through our own process and we just make art. I don't think we think too much about our process. We usually just follow our instincts and we make we like.
Yeah.
But to have success at the level you've had success, there's got to be a process there that there's a winning formula. There's a process. You know what I mean? And not that you're thinking formulas, but replicating success is very hard for people to do.
Yeah. My answer, I mean, as far as the process for me, if there's a question, if the question is what's the simple answer for me is consistency. And it's not about, when I say that, I don't mean being consistently successful or making us, in our profession, making a hit, making a good, I don't mean being successful with that. I mean being consistent with that. I mean, whatever your process is, being consistent to your process. And what I mean by that, I literally do this every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every day. And so the answer to how or why you do it every day, I think the simple cliche answer is because I love it, but nah, the true answer is it lies within inside of me. And I think that's the answer to it all. The true answer is me trying to find whatever that is inside of me every day. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I just still find whatever I find and I put it out there.
Yeah.
And I don't aim for success. I don't aim for it to be a hit. I don't aim for it to be this. I just be the best at it at that time. Whatever the song was, whatever the situation is, be the best me I can be. And hopefully it works. And because the only reason why I say hopefully is because if you ask me to do it again, that's exactly all I can do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I just did, the best me I can be. And so the process, consistency, reason why, I'll never know the reason. I am the reason why.
Yeah.
You figure the reason out, you know?
It's funny, me and Benj were talking about you. One of the words we said, coming from being a fan, right, and listening to your music, but then being around you enough times to get a sense of you, right, a real sense of you.
Yeah.
The one word we actually said, top of mind, both of us said it, was consistent.
I appreciate it. I'm glad it
because you've been in this world that we're all in this entertainment sphere. It's a big world.
Yeah.
You meet all kinds of people, and I give everybody space to be them who they are. So I don't really judge how someone rolls. Everyone has to roll the way they need to to feel safe in a sometimes hostile environment. Because entertainment can be weirdly hostile in some ways.
Yeah.
So you find that entertainers all have to set their lives up sometimes when they're dealing with all these different stressors they have to manage. And so you see all different types of approaches to that.
Of course.
And then you meet people who you could go, oh, the way he does it, you take notes on how you maybe want to change things that you do.
Exactly.
And we were talking about you today, and the word that both top of mind, consistent.
Appreciate it.
It's very consistent.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I try to make sense of it for the listener, for the observer. I try, and I mean, when you said replicate, you said replicate what you do. That's just being consistent. I mean, being consistent, believing in it. And you said, I mean, putting something down that you like. Hopefully, in my case, it's always, I'm a perfectionist, so I gotta love it. And still, once I give it back, once I put it, I'm still gonna hear something I should have said. I should have did this.
Yeah. You're picking it apart after always.
That's that, but stay consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, doing something over and over and over, it can tire anybody. It's gonna tire anybody out. You can get tired of it, you can get sick of it, or you want to do this at a certain time, or you want to go off, branch off and do it. Thank God, if you are successful, you want to bask in that. You want to live some of that success out. You want to see you want to live that out. And that's when I found out the difference in myself.
Right.
And it wasn't about other artists. It wasn't about people that was around me. It was about my friends.
Yeah.
It was about my friends. It was about noticing how they want to do then, you know, they would be begging me, you know, man, let's go here. Let's go there, man. We need to go here, man. We need to, like, you want to go there. I don't.
Right.
I want to stay right. I'm like that. I'm loving the success a different way. My love for the success is more like an athlete. Oh, the first shot just went in. Shit, I want to shoot it again. I'm about to shoot it again. I don't want to go to the club. I want to make this next shot go in without looking. I want to make this next one go in like this. I ain't really trying to, and that's how I saw it. And that's when I noticed it. And what I mean by that is I probably had to be at least 14 when I noticed that. And the reason why would be because my friends were the same age, and they would be like, you know, you are who you are, man. We could go to these clubs. It ain't about us being this age, man. We could go here, we can go there.
Right. We have access.
Yeah, because of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I want to go straight back up to my homie basement and do another song.
It reminds me of an athlete. It reminds me of like Kobe. It reminds me of great athletes, great perfectionists, people who want to, it's like self-mastery.
Yeah.
It's in competition with yourself.
With yourself, yeah.
You know? Listen, I think the reality of life is we only get to be ourselves. We were born who we are, and we only get to be the best version of ourselves we can be.
Exactly.
What I find a lot of times people get lost in the sauce when they're chasing other people's dreams. And then you meet someone who's very comfortable
in themselves.
Mm-hmm. And they can say no with ease.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like a slap in the face. It feels like a very thoughtful no.
Yeah.
That's just not me.
Yeah. And also you can walk away from it and it makes yourself wonder, you know, like you said, you pick up things from people. Sometimes you see something you might not want to pick, but it also helps you in whatever decisions you make. And like you said, you can meet you can meet someone that you can meet something that you can be so up about.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You get stressing out about or whatever. And you see somebody else may not even notice it. Or it may not, and you may not be, but it make you sit back and figure out, or ask yourself why. You know, why am I so up and about it, or not, or why is that person not? Or just make us. Sometimes you can see why. Like sometimes you see they're very comfortable in themselves, and none of this that mattered to me matters to him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so
it's interesting.
I like to be to him. Yeah.
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 And sometimes I meet people I respect immediately because I can tell they're just being themselves and they are just doing their thing.
Yeah.
I think that's when I met you, because I had listened to your music for so long. Immediately I knew, I was like, this guy's different.
I appreciate it.
You know, and I think we see those people along the way. And a lot of times the great people tend to be that way.
Of course.
Every now and then you'll kind of see something that's been constructed and
you know that it's
a little bit of a house of cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you meet someone that's great and you're like, yeah, you're different.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what age did you finish kind of like the school journey?
15-ish. I had just put out like around 14, I just put out The Block Is Hot, my first solo album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in
classic.
I was in 10th grade. And that's when my mom was like, you know, it's enough of school. It's time to get you a tutor or something.
Right.
Just go get your diploma or something like that. She figured out that I was only going to school because I knew I was only going to school because I was on TV every day. I just wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, so I really wasn't. And also she knew my the schoolwork was, I never study. You know, she's like, you don't even, I never see, she's like, you're too busy to study. You're always rapping and you're bringing in straight A's.
Right.
So the either the education system ain't working, or either you're a little too smart for that. So we moved on. I went to college.
And you went to college?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
University of Houston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And of course I got way too busy for that too.
Yeah. Well, school was pretty easy for you.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, paying attention was pretty easy for me.
Right.
Yeah. Also, you know, my mom, she's not strict. But she mean what she say what she mean. And so I was the only child for a long time. I got a little brother now, shout out Samaj, for a long time. And so, you know, I listened to what she say so I would take that to another parent's house, a friend's house for the weekend. I would take that and listen the way I'm very disciplined. By the time she come and pick me up, that person's parent or that person's brother or sister, something is telling my mom how good I was over there. I forgot he was here. He's so quiet and things like that. And so, they telling their kids the whole time I'm over there, you need to be more like, you need to be more. And I hate being that kid. Now you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But that's why I get to listen. I mean, so when the teachers say something, I paid attention.
Yeah.
It was easy. I always told my friends, you know, they're struggling in school. Like, bro, I'm not no wizard. Like it was on these exams. You know, she actually taught us that. She actually said it. She actually told us where to find it in the book. You just ain't do it that day.
Yeah.
So it was nothing. It was just pay attention a lot.
But I have a theory about that. I think emotional intelligence is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional intelligence, I think, is the tool or the IQ we have when we're in a room with a bunch of people, how to maneuver through that room with as little conflict as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a survival skill.
Okay.
Right? So I think good parents, when they raise their kids well, they teach their kids how to maneuver through a room with as little problem as possible.
Of course.
Then you can go out into the world and you can maneuver through the world with as little damage as possible. Yeah. What I feel like in the music business, if that's life, if that's a metaphor for life, because it can be sometimes, if I can move through the business with as little problems as possible, I can get to my goals faster, especially in the early days when I didn't know anyone, didn't have anything, and didn't have a resume to back me up. And I noticed that with my own kids with school, I always tell them, like, look, I don't care about school. I care about you having the experience you're going to have. I care about you getting something out of it because you got to be there until you don't anymore. And I think that when you come to the conclusion that you're going to go off and have a career in music and in art, then you don't really need to go to school because there's nothing there that's going to further your music or art career. Yeah. And I knew at 15. And so we left home at 17 and we were off. So school didn't really matter. I never really had an idea of how I would go to college. I always kind of wanted to go to college because I always felt I respect educated people. Something about that that has equated to smart for me. Even though I think we both know lots of smart people who never went to college because there's different kinds of smart. But I think emotional intelligence is one part your mom probably imparted a lot to you, and then you also, I think, have to be born.
Of course, it
smart.
Has to be in there,
and then environment as well will cause you, I think, to become aware and have gut instincts and be able to maneuver and sense things.
That made a lot of sense. That was huge for me in my emotional intelligence, my environment.
Yeah.
And having my mom telling me every day, you're not going to be this.
Right.
So you must bring in great grades. We had to sit down and talk if I brought a C in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if a C came through there, what this about? Or what you don't know this subject, or what's this C about? I need to see the C be a B next time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The next time it need to be an A. And it was only, and I always knew it was not because you better be a doctor, or you better be a lawyer, or you better be smart. That was only because you better not end up being what we see around here.
Right.
And so that was another driving force to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I can't break a C back home. So, so while I'm paying attention, I'm actually paying attention. And so what that means is it actually does help me. And it did help me in my career.
Yeah, regardless of the reason at the beginning.
Yeah.
You start to understand, what I always say is what we think is our weakness is actually our strength.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a tough place, right? You get to see a lot of raw reality. Everything. Yeah. And where you could say that affected me in this way, that way, lots of people could argue that was a negative circumstance, which it was in a lot of ways, statistically.
In its ways, yes.
Yeah. But you could also say that it tuned you up.
Yeah, definitely.
And gave you capabilities that you wouldn't have otherwise needed.
Yeah.
That served you to this day.
Very well. Yeah.
I think that there's something about a strong woman.
Yeah, definitely.
I married one. I was saying the strongest woman I know I've been with her for 17 years. That there's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's something about the fierce, strong nature of her when it comes to the parts of life
reality.
The reality.
Yeah.
Reality.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a good word.
Yeah, I already know. Yeah.
And mothers can be that. I think all mothers have that fierceness to them.
Yeah, the MVP. the most valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching someone tell. I was watching one of my shows that I watch a lot today, and it's two guys on there that debate. And
what's that show?
It's called Colin, The Herd. Shout out
The
my
Herd.
man Colin. Yeah.
I know that show. That's
Shout
a
out
great
J
show.
Mac. It was him and J Mac talking, and they was talking about MVP, and Colin was trying to tell him like he was like, you got to understand what valuable mean.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not about the most great, the most guy with the best statistics, he's like, because that's if it's about the best statistics, then that's how you end up with such and such getting it, because they did. He's like, but the team sucked and all that.
Yeah.
And then J Mac might be like, well, nah, but the team the best and he's the best player. He's like, but he's not the best player on his own team. So he's like valuable. So he brought it to life. He was like, listen. He was like, who's the most valuable person in your family? He said, your wife, right? And J Mac was like, I mean, how about I make the money? You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah. I make the money. She knows what to do with it.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's what you say with the reality. Yeah.
It's so true. Money is gas.
Yeah.
It's gas in the tank. And then it's also a resource. It provides, it really, I just look at it as a resource. It's fuel. We use it to fuel things. Mm-hmm. And if we use it well, it will fuel it further.
Right, yeah.
If we burn it, you can also burn fuel.
Yeah, you can burn that money.
Yeah, so not to say that you don't like to light a little bit of money on fire every now and then, right? We could argue from your perspective, I could do something with my money that to you looks like I'm lighting it on fire. But for me, there's value, whatever that value is.
Definitely.
There's lots of ways to
Definitely.
That's why I always say with artists, I kind of say with money, when it comes to money, it's looking at it the right way. It is good to spend money. You have to. There's an abundance we need to have. But it's spending money that you actually want to spend versus if you feel you're keeping up with someone, you're always going to be burning the money.
Yeah, of course.
And you'll never keep up.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be a richer guy.
Yeah, definitely.
There's going to be fools.
Yeah.
Think about this over the last 3 decades, right? You've been here almost 3 decades of this, right? Almost. But the better part of 3 decades. How many people have you seen come in, light it all on fire, and you can't even remember their name right now, but you'd have to go back and really try to remember who they were, what their song was, or what their thing was, or what their big thing they were selling was, and the lifestyle they were living. Mm-hmm. You likely could name dozens or hundreds.
Yeah, sometimes you see them.
You see them.
Yeah. And
you kind of see them and you go, ooh, man, that...
They can't, and if you're still doing what you're supposed to do the right way, they see you and they go, ooh, you still here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sustainability is a thing. If I can't have my cake and eat it too, right? But I can find the middle of that.
Yeah, you can. You
can have some cake and eat some cake.
Yeah, it's definitely
right.
And you can do both for
a long time.
All positive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sustain both. Yeah.
Because I think we have to be aspirational for kids who grow up with nothing. So I came from nothing. So I always think it's important for us to find things we like, obtain those things, and enjoy those things, and strike the balance of that feels. To me, I feel like it's responsible.
It's life, actually.
It's life, right? Like it's the balance.
Yeah.
This idea that we can just have whatever we want, whenever we want it, however we want it, is kind of just a false fantasy.
Of course, I mean, and it's one that we don't live. Actually, it's actually being lived out, and the people are not around us, but the people who actually some that don't know us and never met us, that's just what they think we could do.
Yeah,
they think we can do what we want, when we want, and how we want. You know what I mean? They all trust me. They always think, you know what I mean? Somebody always see me, be like a statement may get thrown around or coming around me like, that'll never happen to, like, nah, actually it'll happen to me way before what happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to also, unfortunately, you may live a life experience of you that teaches you that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you can view from the side and see it happen to someone else and you see what you shouldn't do or should do. Things like that. And so definitely you have to hopefully you have that balance. And like you say, you can be aspirational in many ways. So you can be that way to a peer, you know what I mean? Someone on the sideline just looking and trying to figure out, okay, Why is this person that way? Maybe they saying to themselves, that's why this person is so successful. That's why this person is still here. And hopefully you can be aspirational in that way as well.
Yeah, there is a thoughtfulness to it, and it's just smart.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, if you don't, because if you don't know the downside to it, it'll teach you the downside quick. Yeah.
You can learn from others, or life will teach you
Very fast.
And life will always teach you.
Yeah.
I always kind of feel like life is the perfect parent. It's harsh sometimes, but it's kind too.
Yeah.
And I think what I always try to pull out of these conversations is I always think about the person listening. And I do this because I used to do this, and I still do this when I wrote songs. I always thought about, if I was this person, I was no money, didn't feel like there was opportunity, I had a low self-esteem, I felt I was different, but I didn't have any confirmation of it.
Right.
The world at that point had kind of just, up until about 19 was when things started to kind of move. Mm-hmm. That's when I started to get self-esteem. I was like, oh, I thought I could do this. I can do this. And so it's hard to move forward in life if you don't feel you could be successful. Right.
Yeah.
And so the message to most people is you can't be successful. That's generally, I think, except for I think artists, we tell people you could be successful, but life in general, society in general, they box people into labels and boxes, and they go, you're from here. It's very hard to be successful, or success is magic. It's just all magic.
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we came up, definitely.
Yeah.
But today, it's a little different message right now when it comes to success. If you ask me.
Yeah.
And I think today it's a bit more, a little less magical.
Right, it's obtainable.
Yeah, it's obtainable, and it's a lot less magical because you can eat a cigarette, and a certain way you did it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A certain way you did it, you might have you eating cigarettes on Jimmy Fallon's show.
That's right.
In a month, you know what I mean? So you can, you know what I mean by that, you know what I mean? So and I don't shun that. I don't, you know what I mean? It's just, I make sure I pay attention.
Yeah.
I observe it. You know what I mean? And get whatever I can get out of it.
Yeah, be aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only, when people ask me about, I get asked a lot, like, what's the difference between, because you've been here using all these, all them different levels of music, when music was different, what's the difference? And like, the difference now is that you who actually asking me this, tomorrow I'm going to find out that you just put out, you already put out a mixtape, and you this, that, you got that, and it might pop off.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So whereas when I was doing this, you knew the person you was sitting across from. You don't do this, and you can't do this, and you won't try to do this, and you won't ever. It's like, I don't even know nobody now that don't rap.
Right.
Including friends.
Right.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden, like you said, they all of a sudden, they all 19. They're all you at 19 feeling, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can. They all of a sudden, they getting that boost or that motivation from that. And seeing that, and they being that person that, like I told you, they becoming that person that I bet that person can do whatever they want, when they want, how they want.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they seeing this and figuring, I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. And
that's also the danger, though, because what we know is we actually know the cost of things.
Yeah.
So not only do we know the cost of what they're portraying, we know that you can make things look a certain way for this much, but then to actually have it like that.
To where trust me, man, sometimes I'll be looking and I'm myself, Thank God I'm who I am. I got a little something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I'll be even looking like you got more of that? Like every time I see something, I'm like, I know what I don't have that to show you. That's
right.
Put up.
That's right.
I'm like,
yeah, that's how I feel.
So I'll be sometimes looking like, because I don't even know who you are.
Right.
So I don't even have it.
Well, you can rent.
No, sometimes, and sometimes, we also know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can see like, God, who you are again? And then, and all you gotta do is they'll show you you go check them out. They got a show coming up. The whole crowd about to sing the song back to you. What song is that?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by
I think
like you said, obtainable, and it's a little less magical.
Obtainable I think sustainable is a real word.
That's the part.
So to be a spectacle is one thing. So I understand the spectacle of the modern careers. There are these artists that you could say at the very early stage of their success, they're just a spectacle. They've created a spectacle and it's gotten everyone's attention.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one you have to kind of go, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's talent under there.
Yeah.
And some of them do have talent.
Yeah.
And some of them don't. And the spectacle's gone and you don't even remember. And then it just kind of gets sad and weird because you're kind of watching them try to keep having a spectacle. And it's like really unsustainable to be a spectacle.
Yeah.
You can only do the trick a few times before everyone's like, all right, now show me a new trick.
Yeah, exactly.
And I need to see more blood this time and more mess until you're dead.
Yes.
And the nature of entertainment is like gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they love to see the gladiators fight and they love to watch them die sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another part of our careers they don't talk about is the lifespan of artists. People love to mourn.
Of course.
That's why for the most part, I struggle to publicly mourn because it's so sacred to me that a real person has passed.
Yeah.
But to everyone, it's entertainment. So everyone, and I get it. People it's not that they're being negative, although some people can be, in social media land, there's certainly people who joke and it's harsh out there with how people talk about real people in their lives.
Definitely.
And
but they're not real to them.
That's not real. It's Mickey Mouse at Disneyland. It's I want to punch the guy in the suit to see if there's a real person in there. But I think that an artist makes art.
Yeah.
I was really excited to talk to you because as a fan of your art, and then the way that my brain works is I analyze everything. I always want to know, like, how does that work? How does that guy, how did he become who he became? A lot of times the answer is it's special. That's the magical part. That's the spiritual part. That's the part where like you were made different and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But we can try to see like what part of the environment, what part of the person, your mom or the guardians, angels around you that you met that maybe even just for a short time inspired you. What part made you find your way to, like when I think of Basquiat, because I've never seen a Basquiat painting I don't like. I've never heard a Lil Wayne verse that I don't like.
I appreciate that.
It's just that's when you're a fan of art, you just like their version of the art, how they use the paint.
Exactly.
And then I think about this, 50 years of hip hop, which is ironic. It's interesting or serendipitous. This is my 50th episode of this show. And I was thinking about 50 years of hip hop. And then I was thinking about you, and you've been here for more than half of hip hop. I don't know if you've thought about that, but I have.
I thought about it until I even questioned the 50. I was like, they sure it's just 50.
Can't just be 50. That's what I thought at first. I was like, just 50?
I was like, when they
what are we counting as hip-hop?
That's what I said. I was like, where they started counting at? But I guess.
So 50 years of hip hop, and you've been in hip hop for more than half of the time it's existed. We all know that you're on every, let's say every top 10, right?
So
in every category. When you start, and maybe like an athlete, you think I want to be the greatest, right? And I think that's the way we all have to go into the thing we're choosing to do is I want to be great.
Of course.
Was it 15 when you were like, I want to be the greatest? Or was it 21?
Nah, it was the start. It was the moment because I always wanted to be with Cash Money.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I wanted to be with them is because they were Cash Money and they already had rappers and that was known. And
they were the best.
They were the best.
Yeah.
In my eyes, like you said to me, they were my artists. They were my favorite artists. So when I got with them, it was never a competition, but the environment was always, slim. They was, let me hear yours. Okay, let me hear yours. And then you see the reaction of if they hear one person's verse, they start talking about it in their regular day. That's how I always used to look at things. It's like, wow, and later on in the day, they might, hey, what he had said earlier, and it didn't revealed itself in real life. And whatever he said or he or she said earlier then came out in life. And so I was like, so that's when I noticed I would tell myself, okay, I don't think my rhymes, my lyrics aren't coming. So that was the first time I noticed that it ain't how I say something, it's actually what I say. You know what I mean? So it was. I mean, I guess that was what it was. It was like I said, it was no competitive nature. But it was just the environment, and so that made me always. Obviously, when you're competing, you want to win.
Yeah.
And you want to. Like I said, you probably could ask everybody else who was in it. Probably was not a competitive nature. This was just me there. I was the youngest, and so to me, it was always I need to be and that translated to on the songs, and that translated to life, that translated to everything. Like I need to be the best, if not the best. I need to be one of the best, and not just good, not very good. I need to be great, and I'm aiming to be the greatest.
You always stood out.
That's another. Yeah, you want to stand out.
Yeah,
you want to stand out. And that was another thing too. That's so cliche from a lot of people. Yeah, you want to be the greatest. I want to be the greatest, and then you know how they throw it around now. Everybody's a GOAT. Right. So it kind of makes it a little more difficult to actually be great because you got a lot of ghosts that's not great, and they know. So if you're not great, they know what near being the great is.
Right.
So that lets you know what you're dealing with the crowd. That lets you know that okay, the crowd said this person, they're great, they're GOAT. So that makes it difficult. I love a challenge, and there's my challenge. So I know my crowd now. So if my crowd they're not lowering their standards, that's just their standards. You know what I mean? So if that's my crowd, I want to step over all that, and I want to still be viewed as, yeah, you're the GOAT, you're the GOAT, you're the GOAT. What about Wayne? I ain't even in that category. He's the GOATist of the GOAT. I want to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, GOAT is a nice compliment that people throw around now.
Yeah.
But there's a difference.
Yeah, of course. And I want to make sure that I stay.
You always stay there.
Difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your favorite?
Jay and Missy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was much younger, it was Missy. And then even when she started doing her own stuff, like, she started really putting out albums and stuff like that and going crazy on them and opening up more, I used a lot, just her ability to not care. It wasn't that she wasn't caring, it was her art.
Yeah, she was artistic.
I loved what she did with her paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then Jay was, to me, was the, it was almost like Basquiat and Andy Warhol. You know what I mean? Jay to me, you already know everything you do gonna be good, everything you do gonna be great. So you take from it.
Yeah, and he never seemed to concern himself too much with what other people thought.
I know.
He always moved.
You got to worry about yourself.
Yeah, he moved with a lot of. It's smooth. It's confident. It's like he knows that everyone's always going to have an opinion because the mass group of people that are consuming want to argue about what their favorite is because there's something that makes you. It's like football teams. It's like I wear this jersey and you wear that jersey and we can argue about our team. And people take a lot of ownership over artists and their art. When they're a fan, he seemed to just move with it in a way that I thought was presidential.
Yeah,
and you did the same thing.
Yeah, and that comes from being around Baby and Slim.
Right.
Yeah, just watching the way they move and how they move. Also, when you said about Jay, that's you were saying how when we put him and people like him and myself, you also have to think about that's what the difference is. Because when we put something out, or when he first came out, all of a sudden, like you said, the talk is always going to be who's the best, who's the greatest. Is Wayne the greatest?
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, they got so many people put stuff out that's not what you say after hearing it.
That's not your first thought.
It's not even nowhere in your head.
Right.
Now it's nowhere in your head. I love your song. I love it. Play it again. I love it.
Great.
I love it. Nah, but who's better than him? Is it him? Nah, it's just that's that difference. Those difference guys. Yeah, I love being one of them.
You are one of them. It's interesting too. I think also there's something about being able to exist in every moment of the culture through time. So when you think about the 90s and you think about Biggie, Pac, there's a handful of people that you kind of think that stand out at the time as pop culture relevant, and every part of the conversation they touch. And then you go to the next decade, and you guys have been able to exist in every part of the culture through time. And there's something about longevity, artistically, but then there's longevity of life, and being able to build a life that, like we talked about, sustainability and livability, and being able to live and be here in a decade is a real part of success.
Of course.
Like, I want to live a long time. I don't want to die young.
Yeah.
I want to live a long time. I have my own legacy in music that I love. It's different. And I like where I exist. I have a different calling, right? You're kind of cursed with a size and scale of legacy that I think it's not that you were given a gift, but you were blessed, right? So you earned it, and you actually have to do the real work. You don't get to, zonk out and wake up 20 years later and have this. Wow. And you have to suffer the things you have to suffer, and you get to be on all parts of the ride. But when you find yourself in this kind of precarious position where you're a legacy, one of the greatest, right? You have to respect it and show up for it and not reject it.
Of course.
So it's a different size job.
You have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes with a different stress.
Yeah.
So as great as it is, there's a whole side equal to the greatness is the stress of managing it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then how do I live in that success and look after it, right? You're almost like the steward or the caretaker of this blessing, right? And then I also have to be a dad and be a person in the world with my own like feelings and life and experience and all that. And I got to manage all that. And then I got to go out into the world and act like everything's cool because that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, because that's not you. All the other stuff don't matter.
Doesn't matter. And it does matter to you.
Of course.
Because I would venture to say
that's the only way I got back in front. I'm able to stand back in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. By taking care of stuff that don't matter to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, when you think about it too, like you have kids, I got kids, and I always think about my kid and I go, okay, my experience is my job and I'm making money and I'm doing all the things I'm doing. And I'm really grateful. My wife is a great mom and she's taking care of them. And, that is a blessing. But then I also have to think about how they relate to me as their dad, not as the guy that, they just saw these guys come up and say they love my band or this or that, or, you want them, but you also want them to have a relationship with that so they understand it. And finding the balance of helping your kids make sense of all of this. For me, it's been the thing I've been the most perplexed by is just, I want to make sure that they're not overwhelmed with the size of all this, because they're around their granddad is a legend, their aunt is a legend, their mom, me, we're all, and I still want them to have their real life experience where they get to be them and they have a shot to be great in their own way, whatever that is.
Of course.
And that's been the most perplexing thing as a dad, is just going like, I want to make sure, I think just by us asking the question, we'll be better dads for it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if we'll ever have the answer.
Yeah, but I mean, you live to find it, and that's, as long as you keep trying to find the answer, then you're on the right path.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was what you said. They don't have the, not thank God, because I would definitely love if they did. Yeah. They don't have the famous aunt and the famous granddad. So that's where sometimes I feel where they get their real life from. Where they get, when they get to leave from mom's nice place and from dad's nice place, and they gotta go by grandma, and they gotta go by, and then they get to see like, okay, this what we don't. You get to, and I lived that out by when I was a kid with my mom. Just by the way, my mom would bust on her own. Yep. She refused to not give me the nice or whatever the hell it was I wanted, and it's just me going by a friend, right? A cousin or something, just seeing that. Now it ain't like that for everybody, right? You know what I mean? So that right there, that was my, like you said, that was me coming, getting my reality, and also now I got to take that in and figure out what I do with that.
Right. It's a part of reality. Like, I don't want my kids to feel poor. Yeah. But I want them to be able to have empathy and respect for when I take them home, I don't want them to feel bad for me.
It ain't even about that, but it's about just reality. Different. Yeah. It wasn't even, it's just about like, when you're by dad's reality is, he's in there working or whatever. He might hear me argue with a coworker, somebody, a staff member or something. Right. That's dad's problem.
That's work.
Yeah, and whatever mom's dealing with. But when they go over there, they, you know, and when they come back, you ask things like, what, how's little such and such? He in jail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, to where when you come around me, you might ask me, well, how's Bree? Oh, she right there. She good. She doing good. And it's different.
Yep.
You know, and because I'm living that, you know, so when I ask, how's such and such and how's such, well, I can't hang with him no more because he brought a gun to school. You know?
Right.
You know, so it's like, what? You know, so you got to, like, so that's just, but I remember what I mean by them is, by that is being able to tell me just like that.
Right.
And understanding, knowing, and not having a question after it.
Yep.
You know, not being, why? Why did they do, why did this, it's because they already figured it out. And that's because, you know, they got that balance. And that's, they meet in that middle, and they having that cake and eating, and they figuring, and they know how to meet that middle ground with that cake.
It's always about the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle, we can't have some and eat some
Yeah.
and keep some.
You got to figure out.
You got to figure out the balance.
Keep it going though.
And that is the truth of life. Is reality is complex, and it's like layered, and nothing is as simple as it seems.
Of course.
There's always complexity to everything.
Yeah.
The reality. That's probably the best word. The reality of me and Nicole being your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also complicated, complex things as well.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just the truth.
Them know how to navigate it all.
And then you talk about it, you figure it out. Some you don't talk about until later. Some
Not so you trust them to be. You trust whatever it is inside of you. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You trust that that's inside of them, and they'll figure it out. And that's at the end of the day. You also, I mean, when they could get to a certain age, you depend on them.
Yeah, you do.
You depend
they
on
tell
that
you the truth.
You depend on that knowledge that they have. That like you said, that blind intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, from being just, you know, you don't even know you just helped me. You don't even know you just, you know, because you're innocent.
There's an honest,
innocent. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an innocent, honest reaction, and they tell you exactly what they think.
Exactly.
Without filtering it or making, because what
Kind of
happens
being
in
like-
our line of work,
Kind of being like when you
right?
when you
In
go
our
to-
line of work,
when you go to Asia, or when you go to like China or something, they don't know that they're being rude by telling you fat.
yeah, or like Germany, they're like, you've gained weight.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us, why have you gained weight?
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
damn, you German,
They
you
won't
the
take a
German
picture with you
interviews.
because you're too tall.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. There is something about that. That's why kids are so great. I saw a clip of you and your son, Cam,
Yeah.
courtside at the Lakers talking. And I thought it was one of the best father-son clips I've seen. I think we all are interested in how other people navigate parenthood, because I think growing up, I didn't have a model. So I tend to always look for models for like good dads that feel real. It feels like they're not putting on a show. They're actually just a good dad. They love their kid. I constantly look for people out in the world when I notice people parenting whenever I do, because I'm always questioning, like, am I doing this right? I feel like I'm a kid. I don't feel like I'm the adult here.
Right.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
And I think sometimes that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I saw this clip of you guys, and it was cool. It really felt like two friends watching a game and enjoying it and just chopping it up. It was like a little glimpse into a picture of fatherhood that I thought was purely good.
Yeah. I
That's
thank
good.
God for those moments too. Trust me.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you'll be able to see pictures of me and Cam courtside for over the years. And the kid, he knows so much about sports, you know, and he so much about it. Everybody know I love sports. So just going to a game, you know, it's been different over the times. Going to a game with him is, we don't even watch it because we know so much. We love the
We
love the sports so much.
Yeah.
And, man, when you say a friend, that's why when you say a friend, sometimes, you know, you could see a friend and y'all can just talk forever to where you got to remind yourself on the time sometimes. Yeah. Me and my bro Skip Bayless, we like that. We started, it ain't got to be a subject on sports. It'd be a life subject. Both of us love to talk and love to pick each other's brains, so that can last 30 minutes and it was supposed to be 2 seconds. So something like that, and that's Cam and I, as well as the rest of my kids. And you find that with each kid.
With each kid, you have your thing.
You find that with each kid. Y'all have you have that where that moment.
Yeah, it's like you're
with them, and you have that in each way with them all, because they all are different.
Yeah, it's like your point of connectivity is usually around something you both love.
Yeah.
And with each kid, I know with my daughter too, it's the same thing. It's different with her. It's usually our opinion on some music or some clothing.
Yeah,
or some
I was just about to say fashion for me.
Yeah,
something like that.
And then with my son, it's sports, and lately it's been video games. I've been playing video games with him. That's been cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Kids are teachers.
I play video games with them too, yeah.
Which game do you play?
I play a bunch of sports games, but
cool.
They know only sports with me.
Yeah. You love sports.
Yeah.
You could be a sports announcer if you wanted
easily.
to be. Yeah.
Easily, yeah. And I would also aim to be great at it. So.
Probably be a coach too.
Yeah. That part too, but I think I'd be too in love with it that I think I'm not sure if my confidence level or my motivation level will be too over the board,
right?
Because I love it too much. So, and of course, if you hate, I would hate to fail. I would hate to fail. I would hate to lose.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, music is a different sport. We can win a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And sports is only a couple ways to win.
Also, sports have rules,
right?
And what we do doesn't. It's art, like you said. Give me my canvas, give me my paint.
Let me paint.
And it also, when you said about you didn't ask it, but you were saying about how I lasted through the different decades and styles of music and all that. And when at any given time, I could have went the route music was going.
Yeah.
And those ways, those ways die, and then the new route start. And if you are on one of those dying ways and dying routes, no matter how new you want to be, you could have died with it. Something I never did. I never done that. So when people always ask this question, like, what are you listening to now? I swear, bro, you can go with it probably 20 years ago, and my answer's always the same. It's because, obviously, if I'm answering it's the same, it's because of the truth. I don't listen to no one. I'm too busy listening to what I just did and depicting it and trying to figure out what I shouldn't have said or what I shouldn't have. Literally, bro, I would not lie to you. When I hear something, I literally would live for this moment too, because it's my moment to hear something different. It's when I was driving when I lived in Miami, and I was driving. I ain't need no chauffeur, nobody, no Sprint or nothing. Driving my own cars.
Right.
Is when you first get in the car and you cut it on, and whatever's on the radio is on. I used to dive. I used to literally live for that moment, because the only time I hear something else, and it's so new to me. I'm like, what is this? Is this the biggest song in the country? You don't even know. Like, it's number one song in the country. Food. That's what it is. But with that said, is what I do. What I would do is what I'm doing with my art is I'm in there, and I'm that guy that's in whatever warehouse he's in. He don't come out, so he don't know what the hell's going on in this world.
Right.
But when he open that little shade garage up or whatever, and he comes show you the art, they put it to whatever's going on to or whatever. And I make sure that I'm not telling him that I use the term the other day, man. I'm just shooting my shot every time and hoping is valid. Hoping is relevant, and my confirmation to myself is your reaction and your love or your like or dislike for what I'm doing. That's my confirmation that I probably need to stop, or are you waiting for the next one?
Yeah.
And thank God they still be waiting for the next one for me. So.
Well, you're one of those.
And so what I try to teach them is, you can't, that's a sacrifice that you have to take.
It is.
You can't listen to everybody else. I'm sorry. You can't do what everybody else is doing. I'm sorry. That's the sacrifice you have to make if you believe in yourself and your art. And the success from it, if you want to find out, well, if you're making that sacrifice, then what can I do? What I'm doing.
You know what's
Being
interesting?
A great father and figuring out this middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with this sacrifice.
You know what's interesting is probably why you enjoy sports so much is because you can.
Yeah.
Think about this.
I know what you mean.
Because you've committed your life to music.
Yes.
right? You are music,
Yeah.
essentially, right? You live it.
Yes.
So it's a life of like servitude, almost, to the music, to the art, and this might sound dramatic, but hear me out, okay? Because I can be a little dramatic because I like to wax. I like to think in philosophical terms because I like for people listening to get an idea of something that they can take and apply to their own craft. Right? Maybe their craft is cooking, or they're making their brand, or they're trying to build something and be great.
Yeah.
They need to aim upwards, and you are up. Okay, your life is one that is up, and that is decades of work, of commitment. There's all the reasons why it is, but it is. The reality is that the aspiration for, if someone's starting out in any avenue to have success, to go forward, they have to aim up.
Yeah, you got to.
And they have to believe that it can be done.
Yeah, the belief part is
right.
Yeah.
And so what's the point? If we don't believe we can have success, we are not going to go forward with and actually try, like really try.
Yeah.
I believe that what we do with music, and then us being able to have a conversation about it, actually does give the world a conversation to listen to that is good. And someone could be listening to it, and it could change.
Let's say helpful.
Helpful, and change an idea they have. So to think that you've committed your life to making your art has basically eliminated the idea that you can ever listen to something in a consumer type way and just enjoy it and just go, oh, this tastes good.
Yeah.
If it was food. If the metaphor was food, you would taste every ingredient, and you would know exactly how much they put in, and then something would bother you, and you couldn't enjoy any food, right?
Yeah, I get it.
So with music, not only will it cloud your ability to be clear and convicted, it will with your process. So you've had to protect your process to just create. So you go to sports and you can actually watch and root for a team, and they can lose, and you can be like disappointed, but you can live, and you can actually consume it.
I can't live when the Packers lose, but go ahead. Yeah. So
Did they win this week?
Yeah, they did. We beat the Chiefs. Yes.
That was a good win.
Yeah, it was a very good
I actually watched that. I forgot though
and we had beat the Lions on Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, you did beat the Lions.
Yeah, we did that.
Eminem wasn't happy.
Him wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, I love Eminem.
I'm sure he wasn't.
It makes a lot of sense to me why you love sports, because you got to love something.
Yeah,
because you bring that. This is the other thing is, I noticed it. I've been around you a few times now with people, whether you want to or not. You've been in people's lives for decades. So when they're around you, there's a sense of like total joy they get. Like they're just geeking out because they have so many. You don't even realize how many life moments and memories you're tied into.
Yeah.
And when you think about, it's likely hundreds of millions of people that your songs, multiple songs, are connected to key moments of.
Trust me, when you get told, it's when you're told by them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had a very unique moment in my life that I was able to be told in a different way.
Okay.
Because you and I, we both, do the same thing. I'm sure, people run up to you, and sometimes they tell you, not even run up to you. Sometimes you meet somebody and just tell you, man, that song you made got me through this. Sometimes you don't, you hear them, but I was able to see that through letters when I was locked up. You know what I mean? So when I got locked up at the height of my career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those letters that came in, and it was so just by the amount, plain and simple. We had to, me and the prison, we had to form a process to where you only could get, we'll give you the mail on a Tuesday, and we got to give it back to your people or something, because it would be a fire hazard in my cell.
There's too many.
It was over 10,000 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like, so and just for family members and stuff, I would have to man, don't even write me a letter, man. You know what I mean? Because if you got to send it in a different type of envelope, or you got to do this or something. You know what I mean? So because I would let them know it comes down to me. It's just pinball for me now. They bring 2 garbage bags in here every other day, and I just whichever one I want. But it became now I'm sitting in the cell. I ain't got nowhere to go. You know, and you're not catching me walking to a stage or walking off a stage or walking in the mall and can't talk. No. I can't do nothing but sit here and read this letter and pay attention. And one thing about writing a letter, that's one of the purest forms of showing whatever it is, your expression. Not sure who knows it or if you know it, but it's one of the purest forms. That's why back in time and all that, we try to figure it out, to say, look what we saw, it's still one of the purest forms. And when you come down to this day and time, to have someone write you anything means a lot.
Yeah, handwritten letters are it's an art form.
So that's why I would sit there and literally read it and pay attention. And so when you read that at a certain at the height of your career and in that place, you meet people, and like you say, you meet people that, first of all, I didn't think you listened to my music. I didn't even think you knew who I was. You know, and they tell you, no. When you made How to Love, I was going through this, and I used to be worried about, I was a model and I was starving myself, and this when you made How to Love, and now I'm a model, but now I'm a plus size model, and I feel better than ever now, and I'm making 10,000 more money than I've ever made when I was this, and I want to kill myself when I was back then, and this and that. And you know, you're like, in what country you from? You know, you're like in global. Like, yeah, you're like, and they played that there, you know. And so when even something simple as, and then I think that's another part of me that's also amazing that I love, is my surprise and my reaction to someone's love for me.
Right.
I still get the feeling of, you what? You know, like, well, you know me, you know, and I don't know why that's never faded. I hope it never does. So what I mean by that is, I was reading the intro the other day for that game you was asking me about, that Chiefs game, though. Yeah. I had to read the intro. I read the intro for it. So before the game played, it was my audio. Yeah. So as I'm reading the script that they sent, it's an NBC thing, whoever the game was on. At the end of it, they put, maybe the Packers figured out how to love again. And I was like, they know that, you know, like they, to where I literally still thought, I was like, that's a real coincidence that you know what I mean, because the quarterback name is Love, you know what I mean. So I was like, but nah, they did that was on purpose. So that's still, little things like that is still surprising to me. Yeah, it's just showing you that you touch people in different places, in different times, in different ways. You got coaches. I got the coach of the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan. He named his child after me. One of his sons' name is Carter. Yeah. And when I talked to, you ask like Kyle, you're like, why, how? Like, how, what the hell? I meant it. When he sat down and told me, like, wow. I believe that you create your legacy in life, your name, your body of work, your catalog of work, your book of poetry. Yeah. If we put all the Lil Wayne verses into a book, and then we had scholars, right? Think about this, because this is the thing that, especially with hip hop. Yeah. So when I look at hip hop, because I've always been a fan, I see poets using the metaphors of the things they see to make sense of the world of life and to philosophize how it all works, right? That's what, to me, that's what hip hop is. I think there's a whole section of music that hasn't been looked at yet. And I think it will be, though. I think we'll be able to look at culture in all these different points and dissect these poems. And so back to you, if we look at your work and we just put into a book, it's letters and poetry. As a body of work, it's iconic. And so when you think about, a guy would name his kid after your last name, all of those are just ideas that represent something culturally, that are iconic. Yeah. And when we name our children, we give them names we want them to live up to. Yeah. And so we think of things that symbolize something. Sometimes it's beauty, sometimes it's power, sometimes they all have different representations. Yeah. Right? I named my son Sparrow. I've always loved birds. I think the person that probably hears that they did something, that probably get told, I named my son after you, I named my child after you, child, period, it's probably Michael Jordan. And I think you're doing that. And like you said, you got your reasons. And I think most likely the reason would be for greatness. Greatness and something to live up to. Something to live up to. Greatness. And I think that the reason that it still moves you is because you're honest. Yeah.
The other thing that I would say, me and Benj, we were talking about you, and I was telling him, I'm getting ready to go and talk to Wayne. I was like, is there anything you want to know about? And he was like, man, he's so consistent. I just want to know about that. And then the other thing is honesty. Is meeting an honest person is interesting because for the most part, it's very easy to fall into kind of a dishonest representation of yourself in the world because it's
doing what we do,
and going into different rooms all the time. And you can easily fall into a kind of, this is the persona, but there's, again, I think a through line of all the iconic people I've met, and I've been lucky enough to meet so many different kinds of iconic people in different categories of sports or art or music, film, TV, all that. There is an honesty when I meet someone it's like they're in the center of their being. Mm-hmm. They know who they are. Yeah. Didn't even think about the time you had to spend in jail. How do you come out of that, right? How do you survive that emotionally, mentally, to be able to move through all that and stay honest and not bitter?
I think that part comes probably from my grandmother.
Right.
You know, my grandmother raised me till I was about 11. So I lived with her. And so, that's just an elder person.
Strong women.
Yeah, and also that saw everything. Mm. And so, the world could end right across the street from her. If it ain't touched this side of the street, we okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I leave out, I'm getting that every day and every night, and I'm leaving out the house with that. And that's when I was one of those kids where, the people around you going to tell you something like, yeah, he'll hit his time. Things like, I'm that kid, that was, he too smart, or he ahead his time and stuff like that. And,
right.
And that's just my grandmother. Because when you're in there with your grandmother and nobody else, it was just me and her. You gotta be a little adult yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what I think that's what being the honesty and all that part coming in. And also, I always told somebody, I always tell everybody, I'm going to say, also, man, if you work hard enough and if you live, there's no right or wrong way to live. Because when you get into whatever you're doing, there's a right way to do whatever you're doing.
Right.
Even the wrong things.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if you work hard enough and you live hard enough, because life is hard, period. Attack it, embrace it, and love the results. If you do that, then I always tell everybody, man, my truth is beautiful. I can't hide it. And so that's why I'm honest. That's why I give you the truth. Even what's not beautiful to you, I gotta be me. And like you said, because I don't have a persona, I don't have a character.
Right.
Because they die once the book closes and once the movie goes off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I used to always wonder why they had artists. I used to always wonder why when I would go in the studio and I see an artist going there and they talking to you like this. And as soon as they go in there and start doing their verse or whatever, they got to put on they got to put on the voice. I'm like, man,
it's a character.
Yeah, it's a character. Like, what's gonna happen when nobody don't hear that voice no more? I used to always think that, even about my own with colleagues back in the days. I had to sit there and say to myself sometimes, like, wow, I don't want to do that. I'm just going this song and just do exactly what but also that was helpful because I was around people that was living a certain way and I wasn't. And so that's why I told you I had to figure out how can I make my verses, how can I make the people that's asking me, let me hear this, let me hear that, let me hear yours. How can I make them talk about my verse after they hear it? And that's what made me aim for upwards, like you said.
Yeah.
Because I looked at those guys because they're hearing y'all verse and they're gonna talk about it months after. So I wanted that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I want them to talk about mine forever.
And you have to earn it when you are. I think the best strategy is to be yourself because it is the most sustainable.
That's why I told you I lock myself in that warehouse and give you me. And if on the moment me don't work, I know that's my confirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think there's got to be something about the competitive environment you were in with Cash Money that forced you to find those answers in real time.
Yeah.
Right? I can imagine, and I don't know Baby and Slim, but they struck me as really, I guess the word would be determined.
Mm-hmm. Serious,
a little intimidating from outwardly.
Intense.
Right? I'm sure there was probably a lot of camaraderie there. There was probably it was probably a really fun place at times, but it was probably also really edgy and
Nah, it was never edgy like that. It was just the where we all came from,
right.
and you know that was the edge at all times.
Yeah, we're getting it after it.
Yeah,
always.
Like this period, just you know the people that would be around, you know, you would know that they dealing with a lot.
Right.
And they doing things that you would never fathom, that I would never, so that'll even make you go hard on, like I said, make you, that's why that's where my mom would kick in.
Right.
And that's when, that you're going to go to school and be this because you're not going to be that. And so now that's kicking in. And when I'm around Baby and Slim, because now the people that's around me, they really this and they really that. He's really a this, he's really that. And now I got him, that's my decision. Do you really want to, are you really, nah. I'm gonna be me.
There's an intensity to that.
Yeah.
That you respect.
Yeah, and that's why I said the edge was just there because that was the edge. Period.
Right.
It was already around, and so it was about navigating that room and navigating yourself through that without figuring, without getting, you know what I mean, without any conflict.
But it's kind of almost like it sharpens the blade.
Yeah, blade still sharp still.
And you come out of that, and it's kind of like, what could really shake you when you came up in that school?
Yeah.
And then you come out and everything just kind of seems like Disneyland because you come from a place that's the intensity's high.
A bit different.
The work ethic is high.
Yes.
The determination is kind of like a no fail, no lose.
Yeah.
We're going to get this right and we're going to do it until we get it right.
Until we get it right.
Right. And then the competitiveness is everyone there wants to make it because everyone needs the opportunity. There's a need.
There's a need for it.
There's a real need.
Yeah, that was another part of it. It was the necessity to make it.
Right. It was a necessity.
Yeah.
I think that was our edge when we started, was the necessity.
Mm-hmm.
We had no other, there was no uncle with money.
Yeah.
There was no backup plan.
Necessity. Yeah.
Things that I think other people took as challenges as kind of like light work.
Mm-hmm.
Because we knew we weren't going to quit.
Yeah.
And I'd work 24 hours if I had to work 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was everything else didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a need to get there. It gave.
Like I said, I had success around me. I mean,
right.
You know, people that was before me that was coming, you get to see that you want that. I want that. You know, I want that and more.
Right.
But that was also very helpful for me. You know what I mean? And thanking God for their success as well.
Was Welcome to Collie Grove. You and 2 Chainz are friends?
Yeah, real brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
He seems cool. I don't know him.
Yeah,
but I like him.
Yeah.
He seems cool. So was that just like
we have, we have, you know, we got Collie Grove 1 already. So
yeah.
That was just me and him just getting together,
doing it,
putting songs together. Yeah, we record together a lot. So
is he one of your best friends?
Yeah, that's my home. That's like I said, like my bro.
Yeah.
And Ted was rapping before I knew he was rapping, and so once we got together, I did one of his first big songs, Duffel Bag Boy.
Yeah.
Once we put that out, he was gone from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you respect that about him because I ain't do shit else. You know what I mean? He did everything else is all him.
Yeah, he seems like a hard worker.
Yeah, definitely. What? Yeah.
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 He
also get it from being around. He was around in those times with Cash Money. He was right there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird how you can kind of almost spot those guys, even if you don't know them personally. Mm-hmm. You can always spot the people that have that drive and that work ethic. No matter when they got whatever song it was where they got on, you know, the decade before that of work they had to do. Mm-hmm. You can almost feel it when they rap.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What's the next thing you're working on?
Right now, working on, of course, the Carter 6, about to put that out. And got so much stuff outside of the booth that I'm working on, you know what I mean, that I gotta take care of, that I'm learning to approach that. I mean, I'm loving every opportunity I get.
Yeah.
And so doing that, but other than that, as far as music, man, everybody know I work every day, so I don't even have a reason with the song going on. I just do songs, I just do music, helping my artists, doing things for them. And of course, you already know I walk in the studio with 5 features to do every night. So
yeah,
I'm doing features all the time. But other than that, and of course, I got something coming before Carter 6, probably not, mixtape, probably not, something like that.
Yeah. you know, when you think about Young Money and how long it's been around, that's another thing is like, you always forget this is the power of being culturally relevant now. You almost forget until you think about it or you look at it, how long something's been around.
Yeah.
It's because Young Money it feels so right now.
Yeah.
But then you think about it and you're like, oh no, it's
been around
through 2 decades. It's going to be coming into, it's crazy how well that Young Money's done.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
We should make some rock music.
Yeah, they told me about the idea and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to
We're going to send you some stuff.
Let's go.
Because that, when we reworked Millie, we were like, oh, we got to do some stuff.
Man, let's go.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's great, man. Thanks for coming on.
Man, thanks for having me, man.
50 episodes. Are you doing anything for New Year's?
Most likely.
Are you
I
going to
don't know what I'm doing, but most likely I'm going to
be out somewhere?
Yeah, and something.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Man, likewise, man.
Hope you have a good 2024.
Happy New Year's to whoever's listening. Hope you had a great year this year and hope this next year be the best year for you.
Amen. Thanks for coming on, dude.
And thanks for having me.
The best.
Times I don't wanna
Thank you for watching Artist Friendly. If you like this episode, please make sure you hit the like button, you follow the channel, and please share it with your friends. We appreciate the support. That is why this show exists, because you listen to it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
have